always start reaching out to you if it's getting much past 2.
Probably out enjoying this lovely weather of ours. all the clean air.
You're funny. I see one person who had confirmed and isn't here yet, so you can follow up as needed. Oh, looks like we're at 15. So Madam Chair, we are ready to begin whenever you are. Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you, guys. So good afternoon, members of the MAG Regional Domestic Violence Council. I'm being recorded. This meeting is now called to order. This meeting is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube as a way for members of our public to participate. For those participating via Zoom, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. I will ask that you keep your microphones on mute when you are not speaking. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call of all the members.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Patricia Abeyta Young. Celeste Adams.
Here.
Zach Altman.
Here.
Emily Karen. Lindsay Gerfault on behalf of Joshua Clark.
It's Gephardt, but yes, here.
Thank you, Lindsay. Councilmember Klein.
I'm here.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Ellis. Councilmember Friedel. Cindy Garcia.
Present.
Laura Guild.
Present.
Christine Hahn McDonald.
Present.
Elizabeth Herbert.
Present.
Samantha Hinchy. Councilmember Hodge. Marilyn Kasnick.
Here.
Patricia Klar. Councilmember Loretano. Andrew Lefevre. Michelle D'Alba on behalf of Kevin Mattingly.
Here.
Councilmember Norton.
Here.
Amy Offenberg.
Here.
Carol Park Aiden. Anastasia Stitchfield on behalf of Chris Charlau.
Present.
Melissa Thomas. Monica D'Ortenzio on behalf of Councilmember Tilkey.
Here.
And Chair Ernst.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You have quorum.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm here. Councilmember Hodge is here too.
Oh, thank you, Councilmember Hodge.
Mhm.
We'll mark you in the minutes.
All right, our next item is call to the audience. This is the opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda or that are on the agenda for discussion and not for action. Members of the public can submit written comments via the MAG website up to 2 hours prior to the meeting. Mimi, do we have any written comments for this item?
No, Madam Chair, none for this item or future items on the agenda.
Thank you. Our next item is the approval of the June 6, 2024 meeting minutes. Do any members of the council have any questions?
Madam Chair, if I may, the minutes were revised to correct the misspelling of one person's name and the title of another. And the revised minutes upon your approval will be posted to the website, so they are accurate. We corrected the spelling of Monica's name and the title for Councilmember Tilkey.
Thank you. So hearing no other questions, is there a motion to approve the minutes with the changes that Amy just described?
I'll move.
Okay, well, if she's gonna move, I'll second. How's that?
That'd be great, except I can't see you, so if you can say your names, or if Amy or Mimi saw who said that, that would be awesome.
Mary Lynn Casnick moved.
Ally Klein, second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Mary Lynn and a second from Ally. Members participating online, we will now take part in a voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. For those who cannot or do not want to turn on their cameras, we will conduct a roll call vote. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote. We'll give you all some time to turn on your videos. Can I have a voice vote from members? Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Mimi, can you take a roll call of the members participating virtually who did not participate in the voice vote?
Yes, Madam Chair, I will do my best. Christine Hahn McDonald. We can come back to her. Councilmember Burdetta Hodge.
Sorry, I have two cameras on. That's why
Oh.
I'm visual.
Ah.
So anyway, I just couldn't get my mute up. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
No worries, thank you. Zach Altman.
Aye.
Lindsay. I can't pronounce your name, Lindsay. I'm so sorry, your last name.
Aye. Gephardt.
Thank you. And then we'll go back to Councilmember Burdetta Hodge. Okay, we will mark Councilmember Burdetta Hodge's no response for the approval. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Mimi, I need to abstain. I wasn't here, so I would abstain on the vote.
Okay, thank you.
All right, with the motion and the second, the motion passes with the revisions that Amy discussed earlier. Thank you. The motion carries. All right, our next item is planning for October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is an opportunity, an important opportunity for the committee to reach out to a broader audience. Each year, we pick a theme to highlight in our press release, resolution of support, and other activities. In the past, we focused on a variety of themes. This includes messages like the prevalence of someone being affected by domestic violence every few minutes. We've also highlighted specific populations affected by domestic violence, such as teens, older adults, and people experiencing homelessness. Other times, we have featured a project underway, such as the Regional Misdemeanor Protocol model. This year, we are proposing to celebrate this committee's 25-year anniversary as a theme of the Awareness Month theme. If approved, this would be reflected in the press release and resolution of support. Is there any discussion about the theme?
I guess I'll bring you something up. Can you get more detail as far as what you're referring to in the theme?
Yes, we'll be talking a little bit more about it, and actually, if we can go ahead and move forward with that, if there's no other questions.
Madam Chair, I'm happy to give some background in terms of the history, if that's okay.
I appreciate you, Amy. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So Madam Chair and members of the MAG Regional Domestic Violence Council, back in 1999 is when this council was formed. It was formed by our MAG Regional Council. We had a domestic violence subcommittee in place for a year from 1998 to 1999. One of the recommendations of that subcommittee was to formalize this as a full committee on an ongoing basis. And so that's how the council came to be. It originated that kind of the impetus for forming that subcommittee was actually a tragedy. It was a woman who had a number of children, and she's trying to leave her husband. And at that time, not many shelters were able to accommodate families with many children. So she wasn't able to find shelter. She went back home to her abuser, and he killed her in front of her children. Then Councilmember Peggy Bilstein came to the MAG Regional Council and said, this can't continue. We have to have a better regional response to domestic violence, and MAG's regional council action at that time was to form the subcommittee and then to form this council in December of 1999. And so over the years, this committee has taken on a number of really impactful issues, and we think that now would be a great time to really celebrate all of the impactful work that this council has done, as well as to look at, this is what we accomplished in the past 25 years, what might we accomplish in the next 25 years? And so the resolution reflects that and the next agenda item. But for this agenda item, we're asking if you have any other items or any other ideas that you might like to feature during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, or do you like the theme of celebrating the 25-year anniversary of this council and then being able to share the really impactful work that this committee has done in the past? Happy to answer any other questions or if anyone has any ideas on that. Thank you.
All right, hearing none. I think in the same way that Amy was just describing, in addition to the theme, we can also provide feedback on other activities we might want to undertake in recognition of Domestic Violence Month. So we will host the calendar of events again. Are there any other activities the committee would like to explore in addition to those two that are currently on the table? The theme and the host and the calendar events? No. Hearing none. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion approving the theme of this year's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Is there a motion to approve the committee's 25-year anniversary as the theme?
I move to approve agenda item number 4 for the Domestic Violence Awareness Month theme.
Thank you, Anita. Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
Thank you. With a motion from Anita and the second from Zach, members participating online will now take part in a voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. For those who cannot or do not want to turn on their cameras, we will conduct a roll call vote. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote. We'll give everybody a minute to get their cameras on. Okay, can I have a voice vote from members? Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Mimi, can you take the roll call vote for the members participating virtually who did not participate in the voice vote?
Yes, Madam Chair. Councilmember Burdetta Hodge, what is your vote? Okay, we will mark Councilmember Burdetta Hodge as not responding for this vote. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry. I'm in 2 meetings. I apologize. What
That's
what
okay.
did you say? I'm so sorry.
We are taking a roll call on the approval of the
Okay,
theme.
I, Burdetta Hodge. I am so
Okay.
sorry.
No
So you
worries.
call my name, you just scream my name because I'm actually in a in-person meeting at the same time.
Okay.
Multitasking at its finest. Thank you.
Okay,
You're
thank you,
very
Thank you,
welcome.
Councilmember.
So
Councilmember
yes, I'm an I.
Hodge. All right, thank you. The motion carries. All right, the item number 5 continues the discussion on this year's Awareness Month activities. A resolution of support has been drafted for the committee's review and action. Amy St. Peter from MAG will now present this item.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council. Talia, can you forward to the next slide, please? So this is the resolution that's been drafted so far. We would love any input that you might have on this. We will make any changes that you direct today, and then from here it would go to management committee and then regional council in September. And we really want to spread this wide and far. And so if you could also help once this has been approved at the end of September, if you could also help to distribute this, that would be fantastic. And if you'd like to use this as a template for your own councils, if you're with a local or tribal government, if you'd like to use this as a template for your own council's approval, then that would be fantastic too. But this is what's been drafted so far in anticipation of your approval of the 25-year anniversary of the committee as being the theme for this month. It starts off with talking about how when it was formed, it was one of the very first and largest coordinating bodies of its kind in the entire country. This was really seen as a model back in 1999 and the early 2000s for how other communities could also respond to domestic violence. We undertook an extensive effort to develop our first plan to end domestic violence. We then had updates in years later, but particularly in that first one, we had 41 different recommendations, nearly 150 people from a variety of different disciplines and sectors and from walks of life to really create a holistic plan for how we might address and end domestic violence here. And then in that third paragraph, we talk a little bit about just highlights some of the projects. This committee has really pioneered a number of different projects over the years. Many of those are still in existence today. So for example, this committee really developed an evidence-based approach for how healthcare workers or providers, doctors, pediatricians could screen for domestic violence, because sometimes the victim or the survivor won't necessarily seek medical care for themselves, but they will for their children. And so it's really important to make sure that the pediatricians were trained with something that was evidence-based, data-driven, to know how to appropriately screen for domestic violence, and then be able to connect their patient with appropriate resources. And that's still being used today. People are still being screened today, and that really generated from the activity of this council. So we've worked in areas such as healthcare. We've also worked, of course, very extensively with the criminal justice system. We've done some really good work, particularly around teens, and I know that's still a current interest and priority of this council, but really empowering teens, because often they'll turn to each other first before they go to an adult. And how do we, again, connect people with resources and bring them to safety more quickly, and reduce some of that risk. So this committee has done a number of impactful things. But if there's anything else that you'd like to highlight in this, please do let us know. We are somewhat limited to the one page and don't want to make the font super, super tiny. So we can add some, but we aren't able to add a whole lot more, but we're happy to change anything that's in there. So please do let us know if you'd like to make any changes to this. And then ultimately, MAG Regional Council will give the final approval, but it's really important that, particularly because this is for Domestic Violence Awareness Month and it's about this committee, we wanted you to be able to take the first action on this resolution before it moves forward in the committee process. That completes my remarks about this. Happy to take any questions or receive any direction that you might have.
Amy, I think it's great. I have a couple of questions in regard to, and specifically looking on paragraph 3.
Yes.
How is MAG right now currently getting the screening tools to healthcare providers? Is that an ongoing process? And if it is, how is MAG doing that? How is MAG accomplishing that?
Right. Thank you, Madam Chair, Councilmember Norton, and members of the committee. We have those materials available. We don't have active outreach on that. That effort was grant funded, and that program did conclude, but it is still being used. And so we rely on our healthcare partners to be able to continue the promotion of those resources. And if anyone would like those, we do still have those materials on hand here.
Okay, and then also on the walk to end domestic violence, is that, and I don't know, maybe it hasn't, I've just missed it. Is that an ongoing annual? No. When is the last time that we had that?
It's been a number of years. MAG was very instrumental at this council rather was very instrumental in the first walk to end domestic violence. And it continued on for a number of years, but we haven't had it in quite a while. But while it was underway, it did raise a lot of money for different domestic violence efforts.
So I'm wondering if that's something that we can't revitalize for this October. It seems like that's something that we could probably all coordinate within our individual towns to do one whole big one, or within the individual cities. But I think that that seems to be something that we could all revitalize.
We would be happy to support anyone wanting to do that. It does take sometimes a lot of lead time to put all of the right things in place for a walk like that. But
Mhm.
we would be happy to support anyone who wants to move that forward. And certainly that's something that the committee could take a look at as a whole as well.
Mhm. All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions for Amy? One question, Amy, to the point that Anita brought up. For the walk to end domestic violence, you had said that MAG would be able to support that. Is there information from the previous events that you would be able to provide to the whole council and just send that out generically so anybody who's thinking about it could have it after this meeting?
We will certainly look, and if there's anything that we can send, we are happy to do that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Sorry to create more work for you, Amy.
That's why we're
It's kind
here.
of my role. It's kind of my job.
All good, all good.
All right. If there are no additional questions, is there a motion to approve the draft resolution as presented?
I'll move to approve the draft solution.
Thank you, Anita. Is there a second?
I'll Yeah, I can second it if someone else can.
All right. I'll take Mary Lynn, at you as the second on this one. Thank you. Again, I feel like I keep saying this because I do. Members participating online will now take part in a voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. For those who cannot or do not want to turn on their cameras, we will conduct a roll call vote. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote is completed. And again, I'll give everybody just a few seconds since I can't see you all. I don't know if you've left your cameras on throughout all of this, so. All right, can I have a voice vote from the members? Those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed say nay. Mimi, can you take a roll call on the members participating virtually who did not participate in the voice vote?
Yes, Madam Chair. Monica D'Ortenzio on behalf of Councilmember Tilke.
Aye.
Okay, that's it, Madam Chair. Motion carries.
Thank you. The motion carries. All right. Moving on to item 6. Reaching a 25-year anniversary is a significant milestone. Over the years, this committee has taken on very impactful work that has helped to raise awareness, keep people safe, and hold abusers accountable. Many of us have served on this committee for years. We would like your ideas on how we would like to celebrate this milestone. We can plan activities for our next meeting in October, as well as throughout the year. Would anyone like to offer some ideas? All right. Amy, can you share the ideas generated by the staff, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Tyler, can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So we have any number of different options. So when we're looking at our next meeting in October, so October 3rd, we'll have our next committee meeting. We can turn that into a celebration. And so that could be really fun and meaningful. When the Regional Domestic Violence Council celebrated its 10-year anniversary, we had a timeline of various milestones that have been achieved year by year. So we can update that for the past 15 years. Thankfully, we did it for the first 10, but we've started to take a look at that now and start to include the milestones that occurred in each year over the 25 years of the lifespan of this committee. We can invite former chairs and committee members. If you know any and can help to invite them, then that would be a big help as well. We would love to get I know we've been meeting virtually, and the practice has been to meet in person in October. If we meet in person in October, then it would be fantastic to get a photo of everybody, and then we could share that photo on social media to all of the committee members. We could also put it onto a plaque or have a plaque with or without that committee photo, and it would be current and past members of the committee as well as the chairs. We could also have cake in October, which would be fun. We have found some purple and silver ribbon pins. Typically, we're able to make purple pins available, such as the one that you see on the screen. We have found some, though, that are outlined in silver, and silver, of course, is the color for celebrating your 25th anniversary. So it'd be a great symbolism to be able to have both colors in the pin. And then also any opportunities to include survivors. We've had some really amazing survivors speak, for example, at our press conferences in the past, and we can see if we can connect with them again to invite them as they would like to, and is it safe for them to do so. So those are just some ideas for our October 3rd meeting. Ongoing, though, throughout 2025, so starting with October and then going through into next year. We can have social media posts each month, really celebrating those milestones that this committee has accomplished over the past 25 years. On the MAG website, we have blog stories on various topics. We'd be happy to include blog stories on the achievements of the council. And then also, it might be really compelling, as we're celebrating what this committee has accomplished in the past 25 years, to start taking a look at what needs to be done in the next 25 years. And maybe the next 25 years is kind of more aspirational or more of a vision exercise, but then really getting concrete in terms of the next year, the next 3 to 5 years, what kinds of activities would this committee like to undertake? We are looking at that possibility across other activities at MAG regarding regional human services planning. And so it might be a really nice opportunity to really integrate all of those vision activities into a cohesive approach for the division, as well as for this committee too. So those are just some of the ideas that we've discussed internally. Would love to get your feedback on these, and to get any other ideas that you might have, really to celebrate and to honor all of the important work that this committee has undertaken over the years.
Thank you for sharing your ideas. Does anybody have any comments on the options put forth? May I just throw it out there? I know we have a lot of different cities represented here and a lot of different organizations and agencies that work with survivors. So when we're exploring the opportunities to include survivors, I don't know if there's a way that we can highlight the victim advocates that also worked with them within the cities and departments, and maybe have it be a joint interview or presentation on the work that was done to help them along the way. So just an idea I'm throwing out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And it looks like Councilmember Klein also has her hand raised.
Councilmember Klein?
Let me put both of my hands up. Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I think the picture opportunity, I think we did that last year. So that was really a fun thing, as long as everybody knew to get their purple duds. I'm wearing mine in advance here. But I agree, it may be difficult to have the individuals involved, but if there was some way that we could incorporate them in highlighting survivors of this particular thing, can be a little difficult depending on the person. But I think those are great opportunities for us to go forward and look into those ideas. So I'm all in favor of both of them.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Laura Guild has raised her hand as well.
Laura, floor is yours.
Sorry, this is exciting. It's a great idea. I didn't even realize it was 25 already. Like that's just.
It goes by fast.
I think I just want to build a little bit on what Councilmember Klein just said. I was just in the meeting this morning with the City of Phoenix organizing Paint Phoenix Purple initiative, and I know Chandler is doing theirs. So I'm wondering if we can draw in just in terms of their personal sharing that goes beyond the calendar. Maybe a way of having some of the other cities and towns in the county that are doing their own celebrations, which I think I would venture to say for the most part, they have spun off from MAG, because I think MAG, other than the City of Phoenix initial response to Laura Munoz's death, MAG really was the first organization that solidified. So to sort of bring them together and maybe share, particularly within the October 3rd meeting, or throughout the time that we meet, so that they can have a specific voice about what they're doing. And I would love to see Meg and then whoever else being able to do a presentation on Horizon, something like that, so that there's really more, and that probably isn't a big ask if it's done in advance, because this should be more of a than just celebrate amongst ourselves, which is great, but how can this become an outreach tool also? And you might get ideas and people, the public saying, well, hey, why don't you do this? Or can you do this? So those are my thoughts.
Great idea, Laura. And Horizon's been fantastic about featuring the work here at MAG, and we can certainly make that ask. Thank you. Madam Chair, Councilmember Norton has her hand raised as well.
Councilmember, floor is yours.
Hi, I was just thinking in regard to when Councilmember Klein mentioned about some victims may not be able to appear. I think that it could be something where we could look at getting written testimonials, or of their situation, in a summary to present, because there are so many various types of situations that occur, various ages, and some where they have children, and where children in fact are involved as victims as well. And so I think if we could actually reach out to more than just a few and have the written testimonials, because then those are going to be that they would be on the website forever. And we don't have that risk of identifying the victim, because oftentimes they really need to keep their anonymity for years, for decades. So I think that is something that it would benefit to look at that and have something like that.
That's a great idea, Councilmember. Thank you very much. Yeah, and safety is always the highest priority. So whatever we can do to help keep people safe and empower them to be able to share their stories would be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Great ideas, guys and gals. All right. Well, I look forward to celebrating our anniversary with all of you at our next meeting. If you have any additional ideas in the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out to the staff.
Absolutely. Thank you. And we can plan the next meeting as an in-person meeting. So if folks could add travel time to their calendars now, that might help to protect the time needed in order to make it in person. Thank you.
And as Councilmember Klein reminds us to wear purple on that day, I'm sure we'll send out an email reminder as well. And if not, then maybe we can just bring some paint and paint some people. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up as I go along here, people.
Well, we can get the pins too. So
okay, yes, that's true. Good point. Okay, we won't paint people. Fine. Okay, moving on to item number 7. I'm sorry, Amy, were you? Yeah, here we go. Item number 7. Okay. Are there any other requests from council members for an item on the future agenda? One of the things I think that you guys know, I get stuck on a record here. For those of you who don't know what a record is, email me. I'll send you a picture. Again, I think looking towards teens and looking at that, we've had the opportunity to talk to Donna from Bloom 365 again. I would love to have her come and talk about what they're doing and maybe ways that we as a committee can start engaging our youth in a new way. Again, looking at the ultimate goal of ending domestic violence and including our youngest victims, as well as individuals who may identify as being the aggressor, in ways that we can support them to end this in their lifetime, hopefully.
Madam Chair, Councilmember Klein has her hand raised as well.
Councilmember Klein, please go.
Look, I figured it out. I'd love to possibly talk or have someone, I had a conversation with the city court judge, the senior court judge of the senior judge of the court, and talk about the domestic violence diversion program that we have going here. And that might be something of interest other people may be doing the same thing, so maybe I'm not the only one. But just to have an opportunity to talk about the fact that these are the kinds of things that we're doing in Surprise, so that might be something for a future agenda based on his schedule and ours.
Thank you, Councilmember Klein.
Mhm.
Madam Chair, Marilyn has her hand raised too.
The floor is
Another
yours.
topic, if we can find someone with expertise to talk about the connection between domestic violence and homelessness, would be really, I think a good segue, because we know that the homelessness population is growing, and sometimes it really has to do with they want to leave their abuser and they don't have any cells to go.
Absolutely. And I think in connection with that, if you don't mind me just jumping on board with that, is the youth homeless and how many of them are out and on the street specifically because they're fleeing a domestic violence household. That would be interesting for me as well. So thank you. Are there any other topics anybody would like to recommend for future agenda? This is
Madam Chair,
awesome, guys.
Madam Chair, Laura Guild and Councilmember Klein both have their hands raised.
Awesome. Laura, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you, Chairman Ernst. I'm wondering, and you might weigh in this too. I wish Director Mattingly was here, but I'm wondering, since I know Phoenix has been continuous in doing a fatality review, that maybe at some point on an agenda we can not just talk about the outcome of a specific city's fatality review, but the value of them in general, why it's in the statute, what's been done. That could be something we could draw in other people, maybe from the Attorney General's office or from the coalition, and show some outcomes to having that process, because cities and towns can all organize those. And I don't think it's being done nearly to the extent it was several years ago when the legislation was changed and that was added to statute. So
Thank you, Laura.
But
Absolutely. I
whatever
appreciate
your opinion would be valuable, since you chair those committees.
Thank you. We will add that to our agenda. Councilmember Klein, did you have another item you'd like to talk about?
Councilmember Klein, you're on mute.
Sorry, I took my hand down and forgot to unmute. There's another group that I sit on that's domestic violence for persons over the age of 50. Is that someone that we've had come to our group and speak? That would be another interesting group. They're countywide, actually more than countywide, because they go up to other areas. So we talked about the youth domestic violence, but also senior domestic violence.
Thank you. If you have the contact for that, Councilmember Klein, if you can share that with the staff, that would be awesome.
I think actually Jody presents on that. Jody Hector attends our regional meetings and reports on the OVW grant and late life abuse.
Okay.
So
And
yeah.
Well, and of course, our Doves program has been providing services for older adults for many, many years. And Cindy Patterson could present. She actually presented at our board meeting this morning on some really interesting statistics on how many people we've served. And we serve the 50+ population, including case management, support groups, mobile advocacy, transitional housing. So Amy can reach out to either me or to Cindy Patterson.
Thank you. All right. Well, I appreciate that conversation and all the ideas. If there are no more recommendations, we'll go ahead and move to item number 8. And the next item is comments from the committee. Are there any comments or announcements from the membership? All right. Well, hearing none, Then we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting. We thank you guys for attending today. We look forward to seeing you at the next meeting of the Regional Council, which will be on October 3rd at 2 p.m. And again, it will be in person and in purple. And with no further business, today's meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
everyone.